Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Sama Sambuddhassa. Okay, so today's the topic of today's Dhamma talk is eh, not my business. uh, so it has been 10 days since our Vasa started. So a lot of us are quickly settling down into the moment, settling down into the routine of a very heavy routine of meditating, exercising, eating, sleeping, walking, and all the Dhamma practices. There's not much of things that we have to pay attention to. But ultimately, sometimes, because of our mind, because of the workings of our mind, which can be overcome through time, so sometimes, even though it's not our business, but we still go and still go and look at some things which are not really our business. Yeah, and sometimes because of settling down and the mind is not getting used to the quietness, so the mind wants to find some things to do, want to read some book, want to do some project. Well, you already, maybe some of us already, maybe some of you here have already ordained even temporary ordination, but maybe still thinking of what to cook in the kitchen, what to do in the what to do in the hall, etc. So let us see. Is there anything in the Buddha's teachings that can teach us how to mind your own business and how to mind your own business correctly, so that you do not create obstacle for yourself when minding your own business. Okay. So I like over here. I like to quote. I like to quote from a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. So this sutta is number 8 sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya. It's called the Salika Sutta. I just take some parts from it and we see how we can use in our practice. Okay. So this Salika Sutta was given by the Buddha one time in Savatthi. Then what is Salika? Salika is effacement. Effacement. Effacement basically means like austerity, true austerity, true purification, like that. And then, of course, then when you hear about this sutta, so the Buddha is the Buddha really want to talk about what is really is effacement. Okay, because we as Buddha's disciples, we are practicing for effacement also. So if you read the suttas, you hear a lot of this word, effacement, yeah, in the suttas. Okay. So long story short, there's one time the Buddha was living in Savatthi, and then the venerable Mahachunda, after rising from his meditation, and went over to the Buddha and then asked the Buddha some questions. Okay? Then after the Buddha answered the question, then the Buddha said, it is possible, it's not, yeah, so I'll continue. So the Buddha said it is possible that some, quite secluded from sensual pleasures, some ascetics, some bhikkhus enter and abide in the first jhana. Okay, then long story short, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and then the four immaterial jhanas. Okay. Then the Buddha said it is possible that some bhikkhus abide in these jhanas. Then he may think, I'm abiding in effacement. And that means I'm abiding in asceticism, I'm abiding in purification. But according to the text, the Buddha say, but it is not these attainments that are called effacement in the noble one's discipline. Okay, in the Buddha's teachings. These are called pleasant abidings here and now in the noble one's discipline. Okay, so why did the Buddha say that? According to commentary, it is said like this, because some bhikkhus, if they just practice, if they just practice the jhanas, only, and they don't use the jhanas as a basis for practicing vipassana, then it is just a pleasant abiding here and now. Okay, so that's the reason why it is not called effacement, because true effacement is really purification of the mind, like that. Then after that, the Buddha said, now, Chunda, effacement should be practiced by you, like this. So we can see the next slide. So there are 44 ways of effacement. Okay, and those who are interested, I think you guys can look up in the suttas. So here we just take the extract from there. Okay. Okay, so and let's go a little bit fast here. So the Buddha said, others will be cruel. We shall not be cruel here. Okay, effacement should be practiced thus. Okay, so first one is cruelty. So if one is cruel, then they are not practicing effacement. If we do not practice cruelty, if we are not cruel, then we are practicing effacement. Okay, we should understand like this. Then after that, second one, killing of beings. If one is killing beings, then others, according to the text, others will kill living beings. We shall abstain from killing beings here. Okay, and then the rest we can understand as it is. We say the unwholesome quality. Then we know that the opposite of the unwholesome quality, which is the wholesome quality, is what is effacement. Okay. So let's look at the third one. Stealing. Okay. Uncelibate, false speech, speaking maliciously. Speaking maliciously means divisive speech. Okay, splitting A and B, like that. And then speaking harshly, using harsh words, vulgarity, etc. Gossip, being greedy, have ill will. That means being angry. Of wrong view, wrong intention, wrong speech, wrong action. This one I saw in the Noble Eightfold Path. Of wrong livelihood, of wrong effort, of wrong mindfulness, of wrong concentration, of wrong knowledge, of wrong deliverance, overcome by sloth and torpor, overcome by restlessness. So if you're overcome by restlessness, if your mind haven't settled down and overcome by restlessness, then we are not practicing effacement. But if we are purifying, then okay, on the way to effacement. Okay, then overcome by doubt, overcome by anger, overcome by resentfulness. Resentfulness. The difference between anger and resentfulness is that kind of a revenge mind. You want to take revenge. Like anger is just anger, but resentfulness is being a little bit more violent, like that. Huh? Overcome by contemptuous. Huh? That means look down on others. Okay. So maybe we have practice. Maybe uh, some meditators, if they have practiced up to a certain level, maybe they have some jhanas and that. But if they look down on others, if they look down on others, then they are not practicing effacement at that moment. Okay. But when they are entering into the jhana, then their mind is pure. We should understand like this. So, nevertheless, whether, in a community like this, there may be some people, there may be some meditators who have attained some kind of a jhana, some kind of peaceful state of mind. But if they're overcome by their defilements, overcome by this contemptuous, they look down, you feel that they look down on you or they look down on people and something like that. Just understand that at that moment, they are overcome by contemptuous, but when they are meditating, their mind is still pure. So it is very important for us to safeguard our mind at that time and not to arise thoughts of anger, thoughts of enmity. Instead, try to abide with, of course, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity to them. And then one important thing is that what is your mind's image of the other person? And this is a little bit important, especially for those who are doing management, because when you are doing management, you have to see a lot of people breaking rules, people giving a little bit of pattern here and there, some Singapore pattern, Malaysia pattern, Taiwan pattern, a lot of pattern. But ultimately, very important thing is when we went through all these things, when you go through all these things, ultimately, what is your mind's image of that person? If you keep holding on to the person, whenever you see that person, and you always think, this is a person who always break the rule. This is a person, the pattern always like that one. This is a person, the pattern is always bad one. If we always attach to that bad impression or unwholesome impression of that person, then ultimately we will be overcome by this impression ourselves, because if we are not careful, then we can be very critical of people. And when you make it a habit, especially for people who are doing management, if you cultivate the habit of being critical, then you're in for a lot of bad karma, because everyone that you see cannot make the mark, and everyone that you see is always the bad side of them, the naughty side of them. Then actually it's very detrimental to our own practice also, like that. So in the Visuddhimagga, in the chapter of the Brahma Viharas, there's one chapter, there's a whole part on talking about overcoming resentment, overcoming anger. So in that chapter, in that part, the Buddha says, how do we remove anger towards a person? So if a person's bodily action is good, but the speech, mind maybe not so good, then we remember the good bodily action. If the bodily action and the speech is good, but the mind not so good, at least there's some bodily and good bodily and speech. Okay. Then if all three are no good, then how? Do we hate them? No. Do we drive them out of the monastery? Not really, unless they break some of the rules and they're creating a lot of sin here, which is detrimental to them also. If not, actually, in the Visuddhimagga, it says just have compassion to them. Because, wow, the bodily action, verbal speech, and mind also are very unwholesome and a lot of pattern. Then they need our compassion also because they will be creating a lot of unwholesome karma like that. Hmm? So when we read about that in the text. We just think, just like that lah, just like that. But actually, huh, how do we live it out? One of the ways of living it out is to check your image, check the image that you have when you meet with a person. Is it you always think of the person, you always remember the person's wrongs and mistakes that they did? Or is it the good things, or at least something good that, or some good qualities that they have? And we appreciate that. You know, sometimes when we are in a community, and whether it's in a community like this, when we are meditators, or whether it's at home, you know, sometimes when we have this image, it really affects how the other party reacts to you, especially if you want to help people. You know, that's why I say it's very important, especially for management people, whether here or outside. Why? Because when we are very critical, then we may think on the assumption of virtue. Okay, assumption of virtue means that I'm doing this for their good, so I say their bad things, so I keep criticizing them and say, "Oh, this is no good. You're no good like this. This is no good. You're like that." Huh? But when we look at some cases, okay, generally, for example, a child. And we have met with these cases before. For example, a child, we find that if you keep if you keep talking about how bad they are, oh, this is no good, you should do like this is no good, you should do like this is no good, you should do like this. And our mind always thinking that they should change their bad. Then sometimes they just rebel. There was this kid that that I have interacted with. Then they were a rebellious kid. Okay. Then we say, you shouldn't do this. This is very bad. Then his reply was that, I already very bad already, ma. So this bad also never mind lah. Just bad lor. You know, there's a kind of like giving up on himself. That kind of uh, behavior. Okay. Then after that, when we go and try to find out, then we find that yes, the mother is very loving, but the mother always pick on him. Always only point out his mistakes and always the mistake. Always mistake. Then in the end, he had no confidence in himself, you know. No confidence in himself. Then that's why he just rebel like that. Like that. Huh? So this is very important. But you think about it, right? If we change the image in the mind, change the image in the mind, and if we focus also on their good points, and because when we want to encourage them about their good points, we cannot just like think about their bad points and just say about their good points, right? We have to do it from the heart, isn't it? So in our mind, if we can, live out the Buddha's teachings, think about their good points, and think about their good points, and at least they have this something good. At least they have this something good. And then when you interact with them, and then you try to encourage them, yes, best, but you still have this good, even though you do this bad, but still have this good. Then sometimes they react. They react positively. And when you find that when you react to people like this, that's why a lot of conflicts happen in the world, isn't that so? Because people always remember the bad things that whether it's people to people, group to group, country against country, Just remember the bad, 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 bad. If you keep focusing on the bad, then there'll definitely be conflict. You cannot move on, cannot move forward, isn't that so? Even the top negotiators, they focus on what? They focus on the common ground, what they can work on, right? And then they slowly try to, if there's cultural difference and all that, maybe can try to influence. You cannot influence, okay, then at least we have mutual respect. But they work on the common ground, ma. So bringing it back to our practice, it's also very relevant to our practice. Because if you're staying in maybe you're staying in a monastery, okay, then after that you only see the bad points of everyone in the monastery. You're not gonna live there for a long time. I think you're not gonna enjoy living there for a long time, isn't it? So because you only see the bad points of people, and then you find that people will just gradually just leave you, become further and further away from you. Why is that so? Because people feel the sharpness that you have, huh? The kind of energy. When you only think about people's bad, and before you even talk to the other person, your the energy of your mind already shit there already. So it won't be a pleasant experience talking to you, isn't that so? They don't feel love. They feel like, oh, feel very critical like that. Huh? But of course, it is mutual. If we are in an environment like this, if we know how to respond positively to this kind of phenomenon, this kind of people, then maybe we can also influence them to become softer, become more gentle, to become kind. And it is given in the commentary in the Salika Sutta also. Later we will see. Huh? Like that. Huh? So talking about this, coming back to the sutta. So when we are staying in a community like this, in a monastery, and we are practicing, then definitely there will be Mara or karma or our own defilements disturbing us, obstructing us from our purifications. Okay, so we just have more understanding. Try to have more understanding. Always try to think, remember the good points of others, the kindness of others at least. Like that. Huh? Okay. Okay, so coming back, Okay, so if we do not have effacement, then we will be overcome by insolent. That means we will be very cocky, or very rude, like that. And then overcome by jealousy, overcome by avaricious. Avaricious means extreme greed for wealth. Sometimes you can also say to the point of being very stingy, also extreme stinginess, also something like that. And then okay, then second and 30 of deceptive mind. This one means like being like more like manipulative, Then 31 of deceitful mind. This one is cheating. So this cheating and this deceptive mind, we just if we read the sutta, we just deceptive mind, oh. Or deceitful lor, cheating lor. But sometimes we also cheat ourselves, eh? Right. Uh, how to cheat ourselves? You know that you cannot eat this food, but then never mind lah, one piece okay lah. Right. You know that you cannot do this. Never mind lah, little bit okay lah. So when you talk about like deceptive mind, deceitful mind, you can imagine like maybe in your impression is like, oh wow, like cheat people, like cheating people, telling lie or something. No, no, no. Actually, yes, that is also, but it can be even more subtle. It can be deeper. It can be we ourselves lying to ourselves. It can be we ourselves not wanting to see what is really deep inside our mind. We might be we might be lying to ourselves that, hey, I'm doing this for their good, but in fact, it is anger. We may think that we are doing this for the monastery is good, but actually, it is ego. We may think that I will be the one to change things, make things right here, make things right in the monastery. But it may be because of your ego. So it takes a lot when we meditate. It takes a lot of integrity to really look inside ourselves and really face ourselves. It may be that we, well, I mean, in human nature, there's this mechanism called selective memory. Yeah? So one example of this is that for the people who have suffered some trauma, some traumatic experience, then because it's so painful, so their mind after a few years, there's an experiment done, I think in the universe, I think in America definitely. Okay, just read about it this morning. So they found that those who had suffered some trauma, then after 4 or 5 years, then if you ask them about their trauma, then they just say they don't remember it. They forget about it. But they remember other things in that period, but they just forget about that trauma. Why? Because it's just so painful to remember. And because it's painful to remember, then their mind just, selectively choose to forget it. But actually the trauma, the impact caused by the trauma is still there. So that's why, then they turn to other things. Then they don't feel good. Then after that, they turn to other stuff like maybe drug and substance abuse, alcoholism, etc. Addicted to games to fill up that hole, to cover up that pain, like that. But anyway, coming back. So when we meditate, this deceptive mind and deceitful mind, it can work in very, very subtle ways. Very, very subtle ways. So we need to have the integrity. And when we meditate, it is good to cultivate a mind that can measure uh, pain and benefit. What is measure pain and benefit? That means sometimes we may have to look at some traumas that we experienced in the past, in our memory. Maybe because that's causing an obstacle in your meditation. Okay. Then we may have to face it. But when you face it, you need courage. You need the strength. You need the integrity and the courage and the strength to bear with that emotion, to bear with that feeling of discomfort. Okay. In order to understand it, and through understanding, through developing understanding, developing wisdom, and ultimately from wisdom, we can be liberated from it, hopefully. Or at least not be influenced by the effect of that traumatic experience. At least not to the point where it affects your meditation. Okay. So one example, one example is like this. There's one meditator. It's a very practical one. Why we have to overcome. So this meditator very scared of the dark. Always have to sleep with the light. But stay in the forest, how to have light? If there's no candles and if you're staying in a very poor monastery in the middle of the forest, then no light, right? Then very scared. Then he check. This meditator check. Then check. Why so scared? Because last time when this meditator was young, and this meditator did something wrong, and then the mother just chase this meditator out of the house, and it was raining, cats and dogs outside, and it was very, very dark. So just chase this meditator out of the house and close the door. And then this meditator, being a child, was outside, was very scared because very dark, and then was crying and banging on the door. And mommy, mommy, please let me in. I'm very scared like that. But mommy never opened the door like that. Then after that, because of this, became very angry with the mother, and also become scared of the dark. Maybe like 20, 30 years later, this effect still come. This effect is still there. But I mean, ultimately, have to survive in the forest, right? So how to do? Overcome, and then try to remember. Oh, there's this experience. Maybe it's because of this experience. So in this experience, so develop forgiveness, and then try to let go. Try to understand karma. Maybe it's because of their own karma, like this. Practice forgiveness, loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, etc. And after that, the meditator say lah, it was this meditator was able to go inside the dark and not so scared already, like that. So this is just an example. For some, relating to meditation, some people maybe they have been hurt by people in the past because of trusting people. The most the people, the person that is closest to them betrayed them, feel so hurt, and then after that they start to build a wall around their heart. Huh? Never let people get close to them already. Then when they meditate, and then they feel that, oh, there seems like a wall between their mind, the knowing mind, and the breath, like that. Huh? So they have to resolve. But in order to resolve, maybe they already forget about the incident. But in order to resolve, maybe sometimes they have to look back and see, hey, is there something, is the loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, equanimity not fulfilled enough? Is the quality, are they doing it? Maybe they are doing it as a tool. Only using it, the kind of a manipulative mind, not as a quality mind, not true-hearted, to be concise, not true-hearted. And that's why, even though they're doing loving kindness, but their loving kindness is like tape recorder, tuned to Metta.fm. Vera Hondu. Okay, lor, just recite, lor. But there's no inner emotion, no feeling coming up from there, maybe. Like that. So we need courage. We need to be able to bear with the discomfort. But of course, not to suppress and not to fight the discomfort, but in a relaxed state, and then it's like a space like that, like Bande Mangala always teach, like a space like that. And then after that, understand that these are just causes and condition, maybe because of karma, maybe because of defilement, like that, by cause and conditions. So if they're able to let go, then maybe they can progress in overcome that and progress in their meditation. Okay. Then okay, the next one of stubborn mind. Oh, this one. No need to say, stubbornness is one of the worst obstacles that you can have in a meditating when you're meditating. Okay, makes your mind so hard and difficult to difficult to change, difficult to maneuver. What I mean by that, meditators will know. Okay. Then of arrogant mind, difficult to admonish, have bad friends, negligent. Negligent means being lazy like that. Then faithless, being shameless. There's no fear of wrongdoing, of little learning, lazy, unmindful, lack wisdom. And this one adheres to one's own views tenaciously. A little bit like stubborn. That means very self-opinionated. But about their views, they don't change easily, like that. So the Buddha talked about effacement in these 44 ways to Venerable Chunda. So those who are, so you see, what has it got to do with the topic today? Because every time the Buddha says, for example, others will be insolent. We shall not be insolent here. So when we are in a community, and especially if you are not in the not doing management, if you are meditating, so if others are cruel, if others are behaving badly, not your business. And then you never say, oh, if others are insolent, we shall correct them. We must do like that. If you are not a teacher, if you're not in that position, then not your business. Then you don't have to get angry over that. You don't have to get worried. You don't have to get angry. Don't have to get anxious. Don't have to get even depressed over that. Some people are depressed because others are behaving badly. Oh, I'm so depressed. Oh, this monastery, the culture is so bad. Oh, no need, no need. So it's like what it's like what I mentioned in my Chinese talk last Sunday. It's like taking the lies, the hate lies of that of others in their head, putting it on your head, and then complaining that so itchy, like that. Huh? But it's other people's business. It's other people's kilesa. So if it is other people's defilements, other people's bad behavior, then we as meditators, it's none of our business actually. Unless you are in a position to help. But if not, then none of our business. But when we say none of our business, some people may how they leave it out. They just this one not my business this one not my business don't come and tell me not my business not my business like that. So we have to be very careful because sometimes when we do that, we may develop one quality which is unwholesome, and that quality is called indifference, being cold-hearted, and being cold-hearted, being you know don't not showing compassion to others. It's not like that, not like that. When we say it's not our business, it means that okay, it's not what I can do or what I can help at this moment, but I still wish them well. So that's why just now I say the impression that you have when you think of or when you walk past anyone in the monastery or in your community is very important. Because when we walk past, and then we just think about this person, this meditator, always talking, never maintain mindfulness like that. Then you are having that negative impression of them. Then when they want to tell you something or something like that, sometimes you say, not my business. But actually, there's some anger in there. Or maybe there's some indifference in there. You just don't want to care about them. You don't have the capacity to love them, to show compassion to them. And if you do that often, then you become very critical of ourselves and you'll be engulfed in anger and you may be engulfed in indifference. People may say that you are cold-blooded, like that. Huh? So not like that, not like that. Huh? Of course, as I'm saying this, I'm also trying to practice and developing it myself. It's not to say that I'm perfect. So the Bante say like that one, I still developing. Okay. But at least want to make it clear to everyone, and at least when I say and you guys develop, then I have some commission like that. Anyway, so it's not being about indifference. It's not like not my business means like you're being cold-blooded. Not like that. When we say it's not our business, we understand that it's not we are not in that position. We don't have the capability to help or to do anything at that moment. So, and it is not our job at the moment. What is our job at the moment? Later we will say, what is our core business? Later we will say. It's not what we have to do at the moment. So, okay, but I wish that but we still have the capability. Our mind still have that kindness to wish people well. It's not easy to do, but it can be developed like that. Huh? So when we can do like this, then actually as meditators, you really think about it. You're really uh, relieved from a lot of unnecessary suffering, unnecessary hair lices. Then you take from others' head and put in your hand. Oh, so itchy, so itchy. Like that, really, really, yeah. Oh, so how many head lices do we have? If you have a lot, please try to purify them and don't take people's head lice and put on your head. Okay, like that. Huh? So what are our business? What are our business? Okay, go back to the sutta. Huh? He say, hmm? The Buddha continues to say, Chunda, I say that even the inclination of mind towards wholesome states is of great benefit. So what should be said of bodily and verbal acts conforming to such a state of mind? Therefore, Chunda, the mind should be inclined thus. Others will be cruel. We shall not be cruel here. Okay? So others will, mind should be inclined. Others will kill living beings. We shall abstain from killing living beings. And the same for all the 44 qualities. And then if we look at it, if we apply the principle, then we can say that if others behave in such a way, then we shall not behave in such a way. That's it. And of course, we wish people to be able to change and then be able to cultivate wholesomeness lah. Like that, no? Be kind to them. Because always be like what I said earlier, always talking about, always picking up on others, always picking up on others' faults. And sometimes may not be the way to help them improve. Okay, but we ourselves, we need to be able to train ourselves to be able to take people's criticism lah, if possible, like that. But when we are helping others, that may not be the only way. That's what I'm trying to say. But some people like it. Oh, straight and direct. Oh, very good. And indeed, it is better. It is good. Okay. But for some people cannot. So, okay, no problem. Use another way, encouragement way. So that's why there's a book called Well Done. Not well done, well done. And that book talks about encouragement and how to guide people in a company or in an organization or even in your family through the encouragement way. Okay? Like that. So never did the Buddha say, "Oh, others have a wrong view. You have to chase them away from your monastery. You have to excommunicate them. You have to be unkind to them. You have to don't care about them. Not like that. Yeah. And then the Buddha continued to say, Chunda, suppose there was an uneven path and another even path by which to avoid it. And suppose there were an uneven fault and and another even fault by which to avoid it. And so too, a person given to cruelty as non-cruelty by which to avoid it. Okay. So what? So at this stage, the Buddha is saying that the bad qualities are uneven. So there is an even road. There is a smoother road. So so there is a smoother road to avoid the uneven road. So what are the smooth road? What are the uneven road? What are the smooth road? So the Buddha says. So basically, unwholesome qualities are the uneven paths. And the wholesome qualities are the opposite qualities are the smooth path. Okay. So we go to the next slides. Non-cruelty, yes. Okay. So a person given to cruelty has non-cruelty by which to avoid it. So one given to killing beings has abstinence from killing living beings by which to avoid it. So when we talk about our business, whether somebody in your community they they do something stupid or do something like that. If you're not from the management, then it's not of your business. Okay. So what are our business? These are our business. If you really want to take care of your own business, what are your core business? These are our business. So what are our business? Let's see. Okay. Non-cruelty. So developing compassionate mind, developing soft mind, to be compassion. Try lah, as much as we can. Okay. And then of course, our business are not killing beings, not stealing, being celibate, not lying, not speaking maliciously, not saying divisive speech, not speaking harsh, not gossiping. These are the precepts. Next one, not next slide. Not greedy. So trying to develop non-greed is also part of our business. Okay, not angry. So our business is not to oh, this shall be right. This shall be right. If you're a meditator, okay, if you're a meditator, this is not your business. In the monastery, they have the management to do it. If you're a meditator, no need to take care of that business. Mind your own business. This is your own business. Our own business is not being angry when you meet up with difficult phenomena, people, issues. Okay, like that. Huh? And then cultivating right view. This is our business. Cultivating right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort. Basically, the Noble Eightfold Paths. Right mindfulness is our business. Right concentration, right knowledge. Right knowledge basically means the knowledges in the vipassana jnanas. Okay. Especially in the Paccavekkhana jnana, reflection knowledge. Okay, cultivating right deliverance, and then overcoming sloth and torpor, overcoming restlessness, overcoming doubt, overcoming anger, cultivating non-resentment. That means if people are not good to us, we don't think about revenge. We do what is necessary. We do what is necessary, but we don't think of taking revenge on people because this one is pretty relevant, especially very relevant because in the community, and sometimes because of our karma, some people may do something bad to us. Some people, of course, that's very natural. I think that's one very realistic attitude that we have to always remember is that, well, always remind ourselves that if people are bad to you, that's samsara. That's why we have to get out, ma. Right? If samsara is so good, then why we want to get out? Isn't that so? Definitely, there are people bad to you, people betray you, people insult you, people scold you, people don't listen to you, people too pattern to you. Oh, sorry, Hokkien. People show many pattern to you. Definitely one ma. So if we see this and if you feel anger, just remind yourself, hey, this is samsara. So just live by what the Buddha say. If others are like that, we shall not be like that. And then have compassion for the other party. Then okay, that's it. Your business, that's your business. Your business is finished. Okay? No more, no more. Unless you are told to counsel, unless you are told to train, unless you are told to try to manage something like that, then okay, then maybe you're in a position. But even if we are in that position, always remember to always remember what is your image of the person in your mind. Is it wholesome or unwholesome? Okay, is it a good image or a bad image? Is it the image of their good qualities or is it the image of their bad qualities? Very important. Okay. Okay, then we come back. Cultivate non-resentment, cultivate non-contempt, trying not to look down on others, cultivate non-insolence, trying to be not to be rude, overcoming jealousy, overcoming stinginess or extreme greediness, overcoming deceptive mind, overcoming deceitful mind, overcoming stubbornness, overcoming arrogance, become easy to admonish. All these are very important because it helps to soften up our mind. Okay. Start making good friends if you don't have. I think all of us just have. So, okay. Cultivating diligence. Okay. Then developing faith, shame of the wrongdoing, fear of wrongdoing, develop our learning, arouse energy, establish mindfulness, develop wisdom, and overcome this adherence to one's own view. Okay. So if you find that if people have some views and you know if you if your mind have some tightness to that, okay, when people are talking about their views, then maybe we can be aware that there may be some reluctance. And maybe we can train our mind to have more softness and openness to that. Maybe that's one way is to just understand that maybe that's just their view. And it's okay to have their views. Okay. But if it is wrong view, okay, if you can influence, it's okay. If not, then we can report to the teacher lah. That is the teacher's business. Okay. To try to influence the other party ma, right? To try to influence them in such a way that they give up their wrong views ma, right? Oh. So many, so many 44. So there's we can categorize it. If you want to categorize this, so we can say in short, okay, for us as meditators, compare at least for this, if you're for the next 30, 40 years, this life, or only the next 3 months, or the remaining 80 days. Okay, compassion is your business. 10 causes of wholesome actions is your business. Noble Eightfold Path is your business. Right knowledge, right deliverance is your business. Overcoming 5 hindrances, overcoming imperfections of the mind is your business. Cultivating 7 good qualities of our noble persons are our business. Okay? Like that. Then when we can understand that the rest of the things are not of our concern, then actually we cultivate an attitude of renunciation. We renunciate, especially for those who are temporary here, and hopefully become permanent. Nevertheless, everyone, we are renunciation. We are renunciates here. So we also have not only do we have to renunciate from sensual pleasures. Not only do we have to renunciate from all the enjoyment, but also we have to renunciate from those things that are not our business. Okay. Then when we cultivate this kind, as you live out, as you live out the principle in this Salika Sutta, okay, then we develop a kind of a renunciation. No, this one is not what I need to think about now. Can let go. This is not important for me now. Can let go. This is not how I should react now. I can let go. As you let go and let go more and more, you start to enjoy this letting go. Start to enjoy the renunciate life. Start to enjoy the spiritual life. There's happiness coming out from letting go. And then when we meditate, especially on the mindfulness of breathing meditation, when we sit down, like the Buddha always says, sit down under the tree or in the open space, in the forest, and then establish mindfulness, and we wait for the breath at that moment. And in the guidance by Bante Mangala, Paramba Buddha Rakita, Bante Dhammakavisaka, So usually we try to relax our mind and body, try to let go, like space, or whether it is space or whether it is letting go of wantings and expectations, etc. So in our daily life, when we cultivate this habit of letting go of things that are not of our concern, and you enjoy it, okay? Because you're free from a lot of thinking, free from a lot of debate, right, in the mind, huh? Free from a lot of free from a lot of wanting and all these defilements. And you get the benefit from that. You get a peace of mind. So when you sit down, relax, and you start to abide in space or abide in letting go, then you enjoy that. And when you enjoy that, you experience the peace and the happiness and the bliss of letting go. Huh? And then when you do that, huh? When you meditate, you, we renounce even more. We renounce grasping, we renounce rejection, the more subtle ones of thought, opinions, feelings, etc. You find that you are able to be able to know the breath or experience the experience as it really is. No more, ayah, I have to be more comfortable, have to do like that. I have to be more relaxed, have to do like that. Relax, relax, relax. Hey, why no relax? Relax, relax. No more like that. You're okay with it, at peace with your experience. And then when you do that, when you practice that more and more, ultimately, when you progress to the stage where you're waiting for the breath and knowing the breath as it is, you find that you're able you're able to you find that discontentment and judging and controlling and manipulating becomes lesser and lesser. And in that way, your breath become more and more comfortable, more and more comfortable. And it appears more and more. And feel happy about it, experiencing and enjoying the bliss of waiting for the breath and knowing the breath, experiencing the letting go. Ultimately, as you experience the breath more and more, then ultimately the sign of concentration, the nimittas arises, and then ultimately, as it merges with the breath for a certain period of time, according to your teacher, and if your teacher is satisfied with your peaceful state of mind, and then after that, you may be able to even renounce knowing the breath already, and letting go of knowing the breath already. Then after that, gradually the breath appears lesser and lesser, and then what you're left with is just the brightness, the nimitta that is anapana nimitta that's in front of your face, especially around the nostril area, that is stable, that is born from letting go and ren- renouncing a lot of things, renouncing grasping, renouncing, rejecting, and after that, gradually, uh, as you abide with the nimitta more and more, ultimately you may be able to experience the bliss of the first jhana, and because you experience the bliss of the first jhana, so the five hindrances, you renounce even more and more of the five hindrances like that. And then as you go to the experience the second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, five hindrances and all the defilements getting letting go are being let go of you more and more, are being renounced by you more and more. And then gradually we experience that very peaceful state of mind which we call the rupa jhanas. Okay. So this sutta is not just about, of course, this sutta talk about noble eightfold path. Huh? So we have as you experience the jhana, then we use that as a basis for our cultivation, for our practice of vipassana. But we have to understand that all these states gotten, are not attained by getting. by wanting. It's a theme by letting go, not only in your meditation, but also in our daily life, in our attitude, in how you face people, how you relate to people, things, issues, etc. Okay, so hopefully today's sharing can let us know what is not our business. And then now that we know what are our business as meditators, especially for those who don't have to do management. Okay, so let us just for the rest of the Vasa, just continue to mind our own business, and then just continue to practice letting go, letting go, letting go, and experience the happiness of letting go. And then ultimately, hopefully, everyone here will be able to experience the bliss and ultimately and hopefully be able to purify as much as possible for the coming vasa, and also not only for the coming vasa, hopefully we continue this attitude throughout our monk life, what is or nun life or yogi life, whatever is not our business, we don't have to pay attention to it anymore. Then ultimately, hopefully, everyone will be able to experience this all the way until we attain the bliss of the path, fruition, and nibbana. So that's the talk for today. Okay.
The first question in the chat box is: when we watch our mind, do we need to recognize or differentiate whether our mind is deceptive and not deceitful, and vice versa, or just recognize it as unwholesome will do?
When you understand it as unwholesome, you also understand it as deceitful, ma? When it is deceitful, right? When you know, my mind not so straight now, my mind not so honest now, then you know that it is deceitful and also it is unwholesome. Isn't that so? Okay. So when we know, the mind already like that, then after that, it depends on which stage you are. Okay. Then if of course, depends on which stage of the practice you are. But now I'm saying it mostly for those who pre-jhana or is at the stage of jhana lah. Then actually we understand already. Then okay, that is this. Then just when you see it, when you understand it, then you can let go of it already lah, like that lah. So hopefully I answered the question.
Sadhu, Bante. The next question is she wants to confirm the just now mentioned by Bante, the well done, the power of positive relationships by Ken Blanchard. Is it the one just mentioned by Bante?
I forgot the author's name, but the title is well done. I don't know about the power of positive relationships. I'm not sure about that because just remember the title of the book and the principle behind it. So should be this, maybe, yeah. I have to look at Amazon, then I know. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Sharing merits. So we today, and also during this period, we have tried to keep our precepts. We have tried to practice effacement for the purification of the mind, not just for pleasant abiding, but for purification of the mind. And then during this period, we have meditated. We have arised a lot of kindness, kind thoughts, soft thoughts, wholesome thoughts. All these generate wholesome merits we will share to all devas, all beings, all creatures, and all our departed relatives from countless past lives. Not only this life, but countless past lives. Okay, so hopefully may they be able to rejoice in these merits. May they be able to be free from suffering and be happy. Okay, so let's share merits. Ittavata chamihi sampadang punya sampadang Sabbi deva numodantu sabba sampati siddhya Ittavata chamihi sampadang punya sampadang Sabbi buddha numodantu sabba sampati siddhya Ittavata chamihi sampadang punya sampadang Sabbe sata anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idame nati namotu sukita hontu nyatayo idame nati namotu sukita hontu nyatayo idame nati namotu sukita hontu nyatayo Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya idame punyang asavakya vahang hotu idame punyang nibbana sapaccayo hotu mama punya baga sabba satana bhajimi Te sabe me samang punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.